Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smart Sex, Smart Love, where talking about sex goes beyond the taboo and talking about love goes beyond the honeymoon. Today, the podcast title is The Old Gay Guys Get Real on Sex, Romance, Death, and Divorce. I'm actually really excited about this one because I've been watching these guys on TikTok for a long time. My guests today are the old gay guys, as they call themselves. I'm very excited to introduce Bill Lyons, Jesse Martin, Robert Reeves, and Mick Peterson. As a group, these four gay social media personalities and LGBTQ rights activists first began to gain a following about 5 years ago at a promotional video for Grindr. They gained momentum 2 years ago when their TikToks went viral, which is probably when I saw you. They now have 1 billion followers across social media platforms, and they recently published a book, The Old Gay Guy's Guide to the Good Life. All four live in Cathedral City, California. Bill, Mick, and Robert share a home across the street from Jesse. Bill is 79, Jesse is 70, Robert is 80, and Mick is the youngest old gay guy at 67. Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hi.
So let me tell you, I'm so happy about this for so many reasons, and I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I've always been, I'm 60 now, but I always, when I came out, I was 14, and I was always drawn to older gay men with their wisdom and their the things that they could teach me and what life was like for them beforehand. And so I'm so happy to have older gay guys still older than me as I'm 60. Oh, was there like a plane? What was that?
A jet.
Oh.
Bob, I think that's the hot tub. No.
Okay.
I turned it way down.
There's a hot tub. There's a hot tub right behind us, Joe.
No problem at all. We have
There
time.
we go. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, you can keep that in. That's part of our allure. A hot tub.
It's part of being an old gay.
I know you.
I love it.
We can.
I love it.
The
I'm gonna keep it in.
sex toy.
I love it. I love it. You guys are so real. So what I was just saying is how much I love, always loved getting feedback from older gay guys. And now I am an older gay guy, and I like to get feedback from younger gay guys. So, I mean, to me, this is like all important stuff for everybody to learn about.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love your charm, and you're so real. I just feel like that's what we should see in our community. So, without me saying anything more, I'm sure our listeners would love to hear how the four of you got together. Can you talk about that and how you got started, the Old Gay Guys movement? You all come from very different backgrounds. Robert, you were a city planner. Jesse was a professional singer. Bill, you spent most of your life working in the interior design industry. And Mick, you were a technical writer and professional actor, and you recently modeled for Men's Health magazine. Is that correct?
Yes, the four of us did. Yes.
Yeah, and we were naked.
I love it. And you have no inhibitions, right?
No, when they say take your clothes off, we drop our pants.
Well, so how did you guys get together?
We were neighbors and friends, and just that friendship kind of morphed into a business thing.
Yeah, it was a social thing. One of Bob's former tenants, a man named John, introduced his boyfriend Ryan to us. And John referred to us as the old farts. But John had evidently, when he grew up as a child, was raised by two grandparents. So he was he was very comfortable with older people. And so he introduced Ryan, who is a videographer and a documentary film producer and director. And we did some test things together just to shoot the breeze, really. And then he brought us over. He suggested the four old gays as a concept to Grindr. And that was our first gig. And after Grindr, we went independent and started doing the TikToks about in January of last year.
December of 2021.
Oh, December of 2021. And then it just took off in 2022.
Were you nervous about it? Because social media is so youth-oriented. Were you nervous thinking it's not going to work?
We didn't know any better.
Yeah, we didn't know who our audience was going to be.
And I really didn't think much about it. I just did it for fun. And the outcome was totally unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, 10 and a half, 11 million followers on TikTok, and I think we reached 1 million on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting close if we're not there.
Yeah, and so it's phenomenal, it's shocking, it's amazing, it's wonderful. And to think that most of our audience is under the age of 35.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But basically, the core group of our audience is women between the ages of 20 and 30.
Now, why do you think that is?
We're pretty.
I don't know.
You are.
I don't know. Some of them ask, like, for example, Bill always gets requests about if he could be their grandfather. I mean, he's very grandfatherly, and a lot of young people don't have grandparents. They're not in contact with grandparents. And so in that sense, young people look up to us. I think they understand our struggles, what we've been through, and how it reflects upon their own futures as well. The millennial generation is very tuned into the world. And what amazes me is their activism and their commitment, and I salute them.
What I love is that in my generation, probably in your generation, older gay guys disappeared. You didn't see them at the bars. You didn't see them out anymore. You just didn't see them. And you're like Cher. You're like saying, I'm not going away. We're here and we're going to be in your face. I love it.
Yeah, and I think that's really a lot of the attraction people have to us, the younger people, because we're older gays that are highly visible, and there are not a lot of us.
No.
And they don't really, what they really want to know is our backgrounds, because they don't really know what happened to us, when we came out.
Yes. And I love when there was a video recently where you showed yourself as younger men, and you had stories around that. And I like to do that with myself. I like to put myself on video on the social media and show people what I used to look like, what my husband and I used to look like, so that you see that there's a whole history. We didn't just appear here at this age.
That's right.
Yeah.
It took a couple of years at least.
Just a couple of generations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's get right to what you guys wanted to talk about. You sent me some questions, and I want to ask them. And I'm a sex therapist, so this is right up my alley, and no pun intended. But can you tell us about sex at your age and your sex lives, if you want to be open about it?
Well, I'll start. I'm
Come on, Jesse, tell us about your sex life.
for me, I can count it. The last time I had sex was in New York City. The last time we were there.
All right. So you're still sexually active.
Well, it's coming up to a year, so I don't know if I would call myself active. Yeah.
And it's been coming up on 3 weeks for me.
All right.
And I was celibate for 10 years between 2008 and 2018. And then I discovered that some of the guys, on our social platforms thought I was cute. And just recently I have joined a couple dating services, and it's quite fun.
That's great.
And I am a fan of online dating. That's the way I meet people. And I would describe myself as moderately active.
Great. See, so many gay men say to me, I'm married, right? So, I mean, I'm not out in the dating world, but I have a lot of clients that are and friends that are, and they say that as you get older, it starts to disappear and people aren't as interested and it starts to go away. But you're like saying, no, that's not the case.
No, it's not, because when I go online, I specify the age range of guys that I'd like to be with. And it's like 35 to 65. But it's the young kids who always fill up my mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to, I could probably connect with someone almost every time I go online. But I'm very picky.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I am on a couple of apps, and I do check them every so often. But like Bob, I'm very picky right now. I'm more concerned about my overall health. I train a lot, and between those two things, and also the old gays, I have my plate full, and so I've chosen kind of to take a step back.
I think it's great that they're choices, right? It's not like you feel forced into anything that because of the gay community or because one of the questions that you have here, and I do want to ask about, is the subject of age discrimination in the gay male culture. What's that been like for you?
There are a few people who won't touch you because you're over 60 or something.
And there are a few people that won't touch you because you're 30 or something. I'm not an ageist. I can only speak for me. I go for the individual. And I don't need to know your age. Like I said, but you must be legal.
Yeah, as far as the gay community is concerned, yes, there are times when I've walked into an establishment that's gay and a young person will look right through me. But then on the other hand, there are a lot of older gays that look right through me as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, where I'm attracted to and where I'm getting the most interest from are men under the age of 35 and men over the age of 60. So I don't know. And I figured the guys between 35 and 60, well, they're busy working, or maybe they're in a relationship, and so they look. And they're discreet, and they don't post a picture, but they're on.
I think a lot of them in that age bracket are no longer youth and are creeping towards our age and are kind of afraid of it and turned off by it.
Yeah, I think that the presence of ourselves and other people now of seniors on the internet, on apps, we're not the only group anymore. And I think that building visibility will help to dispel these myths, that, not only, after age 40, do you stop dating and having sex, but, you're one step from the nursing home. I mean, right. I think that's the problem with our culture. I think it's a cultural thing as well, where there's a rejection of that. Whereas in other cultures, you don't see that.
And I've always, what you kind of are doing together reminds me of the Golden Girls. I'm sure you get this all the time. They were the 4 women living together. And I always thought, wouldn't that be nice if you lose a partner or you are alone or you're widowed or single to have other people? And so you've kind of done that.
Yes.
And to have other people that you can use as sounding boards when you're dealing with medical issues or social issues. I think that's important.
Now, have you been married? Have any of you been married, in relationships? Still are?
No, I haven't been married.
I've never been married, but I've had 2 long-term relationships. One lasted 5 years and one lasted 16.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I lived in California, my partner and I, we were together 25 years, but we formed a domestic partnership when those were, in law. And so when we split, we had to have that partnership annulled in family court. So, yeah, and because the divorce was really messy, it cost me five figures. I don't know
Wow.
what it cost him, but it cost me five figures in
So
legal
just
fees.
just like you would be going through an actual divorce is what that is. Sounds
Yeah,
like.
I mean, technically, yes, the domestic partnership was ended and by the court order, and so it's a divorce. So I'm one of the gay divorcees.
All right.
I have had, like Bill, 2 long-term relationships, but I've not had any legal ties with anyone like Meg.
Okay. How about you, Jose?
I've had 2 long ones also, and some short ones that have been wonderful, and we're all friends still. There was no anger or anything that separated us. It was just we realized that we weren't meant for each other.
So you're a lesbian.
Oh,
Lesbians stay friends with their exes.
no, I have an Audi, not
Oh,
an
okay.
Innie.
Did you ever think you would ever see gay marriage the way we're seeing legal marriage? I mean, I never thought that would ever happen.
No,
No.
not in my lifetime. It was the biggest shock that I've had.
Yeah.
That and President Obama were the
Yes.
shock.
Yes.
Yes.
For me, I wish that law, gay marriage, had been legal when my partner and I split up, because then it wouldn't have been so acrimonious.
Mhm.
Because we went to arbitration, and California is a community property state, and so the reason why the divorce was messy was over the assets being commingled and how you pull that apart. And if you're married in a community property state, you just split it 50-50.
Mm.
But that wasn't the case in a domestic partnership.
Tell me what made you decide to write a book, and tell us about it, about writing it.
Well, we were approached on the book by, I think it was instigated by our agents, and they have a book division and relations with a number of partners, and we were approached by Harper Wave, which is a division of HarperCollins, and they had a writer, a transgender by the name of Dispel that we worked with, who was wonderful to work with.
Yeah, and Dibs actually came to us through our literary agent. And then what she wrote a book proposal that was, shopped around. And Harper Wave, a wonderful lady named Karen Rinaldi, loved it. And so Dibs started writing the book with us. And you can see how she put the whole thing together. It's a very complex kind of puzzle if you think about it, because we did individual interviews and group interviews. And the group interviews were fun. I think everybody enjoyed that.
I did. I enjoyed it.
Jesse, you enjoyed sharing?
Go, of course. Yeah.
So,
What do you want people to take away from the book when they're done? What do you want them to get from it?
I think there are a lot of messages. I know messages I hope to impart is life can be full of wonderful surprises if you just allow yourself to take time and let them happen. And it's just, it's a great trip if you make it a good trip.
Yeah. I'll second that with what Robert says. I would like the readers to be inspired and to also understand the role of patience, and that life is a journey. And that if, as Bob said, if you'll open and be open to the opportunities that life presents itself to you, no matter where you are in life, whether you're in whether you're Westchester County or, West Palm Beach, or, wherever, that you can rise and achieve what you want to in life. But it's so important to be inspired by something.
And I hope people realize that, with all this good we've had, we've also had the bad part of it too. But we've all learned from our lessons, and I think are wiser for it. And I've never been happier in my life than right now.
To me, aging has been the most awesome thing because I've been surprised by every year that it's not as old as I thought it was. Even I just turned 70 a couple months ago, and I'm not crippled, broken, ruined, but not crippled, broken. But I'm just still living, and I feel good. There's things my body won't do, but most of the time it does what I want it to do.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep that laughter and that youth spirit in you as you age also.
I can't tell you how therapeutic this is for me because I just turned 60 and it's such a weird age. It's like, it's just a different age. When I turned 50, I loved it. When I turned 40, I loved it. 30, I loved. But 60, I just feel like, I don't know, it just feels serious now. But you're saying you can still having fun.
That's right.
Well, I hear that 60 is the new 50. So, you have a ways to go yet.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I do. But you make it fun. And I like that you talked. I hope in the book you talked about some of the bad times and how you recovered from it. Because look, our generation has been through the HIV crisis. All the homophobia, all the shit that we've had to deal with in our culture. But you survived it, and I think that's so important for us all to see.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was lucky that I had their friends, but I called them my gay mom and dad, Joe and Bob, who took me through their stories of coming out, which I thought we were having a hard time. Just like, you do what? You have to pack up your luggage and take it to a house. You can't walk down the street and drag, So we had it easier than they did. And hopefully we're making it easier for those that come along behind us.
Yes.
And with us.
Yes. You also wrote a children's book. I see here, My Four Fabulous Uncles, which I love. So tell us about that.
That was another project in which the sponsor, which was Fiverr, came to us and wanted to do this children's book with 4 characters modeled after our persona. And they created these cartoon-like characters which look kind of sort of like us. And I said kind of sort of. And then we had a few interviews with them. And a book appeared.
Yeah, and it was distributed via ebooks internationally too. So
that's awesome.
It's got a lot of presence.
Yeah, it was released, I think, in May or something like that last year in commemoration of Pride. And I think that's what the message is this young child has some questions about their identity and about what they like and they don't like. And what they like isn't altogether popular in school. And just to learn how to live with your choices. And the other side, well, in some ways, you just got to ignore them because that's what it is, noise.
Yes, and it makes you also be a leader, as Mick was talking about. You're leading them. Don't always follow them, because there's people who are looking at you and saying, he's doing that or she's doing that. Maybe I can try it. You
Yes.
never know who you're influencing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I just think even for the young LGBT teens, just seeing you having survived so much, and I know they go through. I'm a therapist, right? We see it in my practice where people are they don't think they can make it through, and override all that, and you're showing them and teaching children that you can.
Yeah.
Yes. Life is always going to present you with challenges. The question is, it's not a win-lose kind of game. The purpose of life's challenges is to grow from them and to become a fuller, rounded person. And you will always have, and like my mother says, you will always have problems. There will be new problems that replace the old problems, but you will always have problems. And that's why they teach us in school how to solve them.
That's right. And sadly, they don't teach us how to solve emotional problems or psychological problems. So that's where you guys come in, or I come in.
Yeah.
What would you say you want for each of you, if you could go around and say what you hope that your message is, not just from the book and not just from your TikToks, but just life? What would be a message you would want people to take away?
Just be yourself. Don't let anybody influence you. Just be you.
And I would say always be honest with yourself. Look at it from both sides. And I hope people will walk away from the book seeing what we've been through and seeing where we are now, and know that aging can be a happier place.
I think the words faith and trust go hand in hand. And I think that's really where you find it, but you have to look for that. That's one of life's challenges.
And I would say that when you're searching for what you're going to do with your life as work, find something you like to do and that you can be very passionate about, because that is the pathway to success in business. Is if you really like what you're doing and you keep trying to excel at it and make it better, it'll make your life better and you'll be a real happy person.
I totally agree with that. As a sex therapist, and I'm a regular therapist too, it's been my passion for 40 years. I've loved every minute of it, and I continue to.
Funny you should say that, because my passion is sex. Even though I'm not doing a lot of that now, my passion, as the boys know here, is about sex.
Yes.
So, all right. So wait, if I could ask you this. So of the Golden Girls, if you were the Golden Girls, would that mean you would be Blanche?
Why, yes. How did you guess?
And who would everyone else be?
You're Glenn?
I'm Sophia.
Oh, okay.
The old wise one with a sharp mouth.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of strange. I'm sort of like a cross between Blanche and Bee. So I'll take both roles, because we have to give a new one to Jesse.
Yeah.
All right. So what did
I wasn't there. I was not a Golden Girl. I was what was I, guys? I was a dynasty queen, a Dominique Devereaux.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. Better.
Those Golden Girls had nothing for me.
And going back to the Golden Girls, I was Rose.
I relate to that. I'm Rose myself. I get it. All right. Before we end, is there anything that you want to make sure you say before we go away?
I'm so glad we had this time together, and we love you all, and we wouldn't be here without are people loving us back. So thank you for having us here today.
I thought you were going to break into
The
song.
I stopped at the end
So
of the
did I.
first phrase.
Where can people find you?
What?
I was going to say in the phone book. Where can people find me? Find us at
The internet.
the internet. Just look up. Just type in the old gays, and you'll find us.
You are easy to find. That's true.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And the book, The Old Gays Guide to the Good Life, will be released on November 28th. That's when it will be released. However, you can, if you go to HarperCollins and Harper Wave and go to their products, you can pre-order the book, and you'll see a delightful cover and back cover. The back cover is yes. I think that says it all, between the front and the back and everything that's in between.
All right.
And also for the Audible book, we're all using our own voices to tell the stories. So that's going to be super.
That's great. We'll put links so that people can find that when we publish this, and it'll be published soon. And you wanted me to say this at the end, it says here, so I'm going to say that this is the message from you all. Understand that life is full of gifts. To fully appreciate and enjoy them, however, one must be open to change and skilled in the ever-evolving arts of love and sex. That's beautiful.
Here, here.
Yes.
So thank you, Bill, Jesse, Robert, and Mick. It was a total pleasure. I knew I would have fun and wanted in talking to you. And I will tell my listeners, if you want to hear more of my podcasts, you just go to smartsexsmartlove.com. And you can also follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. It's at Dr. Joe Kort, DrJoeKort. And then you can go to joecourt.com. All right. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.